Spooks is a British television drama series that originally aired on BBC One from May 13, 2002 to October 23, 2011, consisting of 10 series. The title is a popular colloquialism for spies, and the series follows the work of a group of MI5 officers based at the service's Thames House headquarters, in a highly secure suite of offices known as the Grid. It is notable for both its high production value, and its use of popular guest actors. In the United States, the show is broadcast under the title MI5. In Canada, the program originally aired as MI5 but now airs on BBC Canada as Spooks. The series will continue with the film, Spooks, The Greater Good, which began production in 2014. Series synopses. Series 1. Starring Matthew Macfadyen, Keeley Hawes, David Oyelowo, Jenny Agutter, and Peter Firth, the initial series of 6 one-hour episodes premiered in the spring of 2002. Due to its combination of glossy high production values with fast-paced action-adventure and spy intrigue storylines, the series was a critical and popular success, averaging 7.5 million viewers over its 6 episodes. The second episode gained notoriety for the violent killing of character Helen Flynn, which drew the largest number of complaints to the Broadcasting Standards Commission in 2002. During an undercover operation, Helen and Tom were captured by race riot instigator Robert Osborne, played by Kevin McNally, who tortured Helen with a deep fryer in an attempt to make Tom reveal classified information. He refused and she was killed. This provoked an angry reaction from many viewers who jammed BBC phone switchboards with complaints, despite the show airing after the 9 p.m. watershed. Series 2. With the success of the first series, a second, longer series of 10 episodes was commissioned and subsequently aired in 2003. New regular characters Sam Buxton and Ruth Evershed were introduced in the first and second episodes respectively, while the series finale ended with a dramatic cliffhanger. The series averaged 7.1 million viewers. Series 3. A third series of 10 episodes was transmitted on BBC One in the spring of 2004 and concluded on December 13. The first episode features Rupert Penry-Jones as Adam Carter, who was drafted in from MI6 to help investigate Tom's disappearance. He later takes over Tom's position as section chief after the latter jeopardized an important operation. In episode 6, Zoe is taken to court for misconduct during an operation and is forced to leave MI5 and assume a new identity in Chile. She is replaced by Adam's wife, Fiona. In the series finale, Danny is killed while he and Fiona are being held hostage. Audience figures drop to a series average of 5.8 million viewers. Series 4. The fourth series of Spooks began transmission on Monday 12 September 2005 on BBC One at 9 p.m. with the first of a two-part story. The next day the second episode was shown. The following week Spooks assumed a 9 p.m. Thursday slot, a break from the Monday 9 p.m. slot the previous series had traditionally occupied. Once again, the series ran for 10 episodes and averaged 6.05 million viewers, a notable increase on the previous series. The opening two-part episode introduces two new characters to the series, Zafar Younis and Juliet Shaw. The storyline involves a terrorist bombing central London, something that, in reality, took place on July 7, 2 months prior to the airing but after the filming was already complete. According to The Guardian newspaper, the day the first episode aired, the similarities were sufficient to cause head of drama Jane Tranter and new BBC One controller Peter Fincham to agonize over whether to drop the episodes. The episodes eventually aired unedited, although before both installments of the two-part The BBC One continuity announcer warned viewers that they featured scenes of terrorist bombing in London which some viewers might find disturbing. In episode 7, Fiona Carter leaves the show because the actress portraying her, Olga Sosnovska, was pregnant during filming and chose to leave the program. In that story arc, Fiona attempts to kill her deranged ex-husband, who she thought was hanged several years earlier. However, her ex-husband ultimately abducts her and later shoots her dead in Adam's presence during her attempted escape. Her character is replaced by Joe Portman, a new arrival at MI5 who was recruited by Adam in a previous episode. Series 5. The fifth series of Spooks aired its first episode in 2 parts, the first appearing on September 17, 2006. In it, elements within the British government, MI6 and the UK press conspire in an attempt to overthrow the Parliament and the Prime Minister. These elements agree that for Britain to survive the threats posed by modern-day terrorism, democracy had to be replaced with rule by committee. The second part followed the next day, marking Spooks' return to BBC One's Monday night schedule. These episodes introduced Roz Myers. This series' storylines include a fake homegrown Al-Qaeda cell that plans an attack on London, the British government selling nuclear technology to Saudi Arabia, and the US administration selling arms to African dictators. The ratings for this series remain consistent with those of the previous series, averaging 6 million viewers. Series 6. The sixth series was commissioned by Jane Tranter, head of drama commissioning at the BBC, by the time Series 5 was announced. The series returned on October 16, 2007 at 9 p.m. on BBC One, and concluded on December 18. The series averaged 5.68 million viewers. The sixth series was different in certain respects from the previous 5 because it had a dominant storyline running through the entire season and the show contained end credits for the first time. There was also a less frequent use of the soundtrack composed by Jenny Muscat. The primary storyline of Series 6 follows Iran seeking the ability to manufacture its own nuclear weapons and searching for sellers of nuclear armaments components. The governments of several nations are woven throughout the plot. Simon Abkarian plays the Iranian special counsel liaising with the various governments, Agni Scott as his wife, Matthew Marsh as the CIA station chief, and Robert Glenister as the British Home Secretary, all have recurring roles throughout the series. A new website called Spooks Interactive was created to coincide with the launch of the series. In April 2008, the Spooks production team won the BAFTA Award for Interactivity for their work on Spooks Interactive. Series 7. Series 7 of Spooks began airing on October 27, 2008 for an 8-episode run. Peter Firth returns as Harry Pierce, along with Alex Lenipkun as Ben Kaplan, Hugh Simon as Malcolm Wynne Jones, Miranda Raison as Joe Portman and Gemma Jones as Connie James. In the first episode, central character Adam Cutter dies in a car explosion set by terrorists, and the character Roz Myers returns to the show as a deep-cover agent in Moscow. Richard Armitage joins the cast as Lucas North, an agent who has been held in a Russian prison for the past 8 years and released as part of a spy exchange. Following Adam's death, Roz is made the section leader and Lucas replaces her as a senior case officer. The Series 8 recommissioned press release stated there would be a twist in the final episode of Series 7. In this episode, a nuclear bomb is set to explode, triggered by a Russian sleeper agent who is part of Operation Tiresias. As Parliament and the royal family are evacuated, the nuclear threat to London is eliminated when Roz and Lucas are able to turn Connie James and elude an FSB kill squad. While defusing the bomb, Connie is killed by its conventional explosives. Seconds before the bomb exploded, Connie revealed that it had not been Harry who sold Lucas North out to the Russians as Lucas had always believed but, rather, herself. The episode concludes with Harry, conscious but with his mouth taped shut, in the boot of a car being zipped up in a body bag by Victor Sarkisian, head of the FSB's London station. Series 8. In December 2008, the BBC announced that Series 8 would start filming in March 2009 and air late 2009, with both Herman Norris and Richard Armitage returning for Series 8. Series 8 started on Wednesday 4 November 2009, at 9 p.m. on BBC One, with Episode 2 broadcast on Friday 6 November at 9 p.m. on BBC Three. The opening episode of Series 8 drew in 6 million viewers, a 25% share of audience numbers between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. The first episode of the series continues from the cliffhanger at the end of Series 7, with Harry Pierce being held captive by the Russians. During this episode, Ruth Averst is reintroduced, having spent her time since Series 5 in Cyprus. the only character other than Harry who has been in the program since its inception, Malcolm Wynne Jones, departs stating simply that he is too old. His replacement comes in the form of much younger technician Tariq Masood. The series again revolves around one major plot arc, which is a mysterious organization known only as Nightingale. During the course of the series, Lucas North's loyalty is continually called into question, for the most part because of his ongoing relationship with CIA agent Sarah Caulfield, who is connected to Nightingale. Joe Portman had also briefly returned, but she was killed by Roz in a dramatic act of martyrdom when awkwardly captured by a terrorist, after which Roz couldn't forget about all this during the remainder of the series. At the end of the series, Section D does not appear to have made much progress in tackling Nightingale, and Roz Myers is killed in an explosion with the new Home Secretary Andrew Lawrence. Series 9. Spooks returned for a 9th series on Monday 20 September 2010 for an 8-episode run. New cast members in the series include Sophia Mills and Max Brown as MI5 officers and Simon Russell Beale as the Home Secretary. Ian Glenn and Layla Rouas also joined the series, playing Vaughn Edwards and Maya Lohan, figures from Lucas's mysterious past. The season ends with the deaths of Lucas' lover Maya Lohan, following the death of Lucas' blackmailer, Vaughn, in the climactic end of the penultimate episode. Lucas had kidnapped Ruth, binding and gagging her, and was attempting to get a top-secret computer file for the Chinese. The climactic scene was a showdown between Harry and Lucas on top of a tower block in London. After Harry reveals that the file never actually worked, and that Lucas had apparently betrayed his MI5 colleagues and stolen another man's identity, Lucas orders Harry to turn around. Harry anticipates execution, but no shots come. Hearing a car alarm and screams from the ground many seconds later, Harry turns around to find Lucas no longer on the roof. 48 hours later, the Home Secretary calls Harry to inform him that a full investigation will be made into his actions at MI5 and to prepare for life after MI5. The series ends with Harry looking out over the London skyline at night. A caption reveals that a 10th series would be shown in 2011. Series 10. Production on the 6-episode series reportedly began during March 2011, with Lara Pulver joining the series as an ambitious, hungry new spook determined to make her mark. Also joining the series were Jeffrey Strayed-Field, Alice Craig and Jonathan Hyde, while Peter Firth, Nicola Walker, Max Brown, Shazid Latif and Simon Russell Beale reprised their roles, as well as Matthew McFadden in a cameo role in the final episode. Sophia Mills did not return as Beth Bailey. The season concludes with the revelation of a plot to force Britain and Russia into war. Harry manages to thwart the plot and decides to leave the service to live a normal life with Ruth Evershed. But when a vengeful Sasha Gavrik attempts to take revenge on him, Ruth takes the blow for Harry before dying in his arms. Harry then decides to return to MI5, the prospect of a normal life, whatever that would mean without Ruth, no longer appealing to him. Kudos and the BBC announced in a joint statement in August 2011 that Series 10 would be the last series. It began airing on BBC One on Sunday 18 September 2011 at 9:00 p.m., moving from its traditional weekday evening slot, with the final episode airing on October 23, 2011. Production: the programme was created by writer David Wollstonecraft, and produced by Kudos for the BBC. A high production value, coupled with the series' popularity, attracted a large number of high-profile guest stars. These included Hugh Laurie, Robert Hardy, Tim McInerney, Bruce Payne, Rhys Dinsdale, Ian MacDiarmid, Ewan Bremner, Jimmy Mystery, Andy Serkis, Andrew Tiernan, Anton Lesser, Anupam Kher, Alexander Siddig, Martine McCutcheon and Anthony Head. Locations: the availability and iconic status of certain London landmarks made them popular locations throughout production. Exterior shots of Thames House, the headquarters of MI5, were used in many episodes to establish the location of scenes. However, due to the security risks involved with filming such a location, London's Freemasons Hall was used for scenes where actors were entering or leaving the building, and for some internal locations. This same location was later used as Thames House in Torchwood, Children of Earth. Establishing shots of the SIS building were also used for scenes involving members of the Secret Intelligence Service or MI6. Other landmarks commonly used included the London Underground and the Millennium Bridge. Many scenes are filmed in and around the Docklands, especially Canary Wharf, Rotherhithe, London Bridge and Greenwich area, as well as the New More London development. Cast. Main characters: The Grid, Sir Harry Pierce KBE Head of Counter-Terrorism Department MI5. Tom Quinn Chief of Section and Senior Case Officer, Section D, decommissioned after jeopardizing a key mission and took early retirement. Became a private contractor after leaving MI5. In the final episode of the series, Quinn is hired by Harry as an outside source to kill a double agent for both MI5 and the FSB. Erin Watt Section Chief, Section D. Former Acting Head of Counter-Terrorism Department, MI5. Tessa Phillips Senior Case Officer, Section K, left the Grid after being discovered by Harry running ghost agents. Fled the country after sabotaging an operation. Dimitri Levendis Piracy and Terrorism Case Officer, Section D. Also ex-Special Boat Service. Zoe Reynolds Jr. Case Officer, Section D, hidden off the books in Chile after she was caught making a mistake on an undercover mission. In 2013 she said that she might return to Spooks as Zoe for the new film. Beth Bailey Jr. Case Officer, Section D, decommissioned by Erin Watts in the time between Series 9 and 10. Callum Reed Jr. Case Officer, Section D, Sam Buxton Administrative Officer, Section D, reassigned to GCHQ following Danny's demise. Malcolm Wynne Jones Technician and Data Analyst, Section D, retired. The Grid, Jed Kelly Administrative Officer, Section D, status unknown. The Grid, arranged in approximate order of seniority and, among equals, most recent last. Adam Carter Chief of Section and Senior Case Officer, Section D, killed by a car bomb in Series 7, Episode 1. Rose Myers Chief of Section and Senior Case Officer, Section D, killed in an explosion while attempting to rescue the Home Secretary in Series 8, Episode 8. Lucas North John Bateman Chief of Section and Senior Case Officer, Section D, jumped from a rooftop to his death after a showdown with Harry Pierce in Series 9, Episode 8. Fiona Carter MI6 Officer, Section D, shot by Syrian ex-husband during an operation in Series 4, Episode 7. Danny Hunter Jr. Case Officer, Section D, executed during a terrorist hostage situation in Series 3, Episode 10. Zafar Yanis Jr. Case Officer, Section D, tortured and killed by a rogue cell called the Redbacks sometime after being abducted in Series 6, Episode 1. Ben Kaplan DSO Jr. Case Officer, Section D, throat cut by FSB mole Connie James in Series 7, Episode 7. Joe Portman Jr. Case Officer, Section D, shot by Rose Myers while restraining a terrorist during a hostage situation in Series 8, Episode 3. Ruth Averst former Senior Intelligence The Analyst, Section D, now Security Advisor to Home Secretary William Towers accidentally stabbed by Sasha Gavrik, Series 10, Episode 6. Connie James former Senior Analyst Section D, arrested as an FSB mole. Killed while defusing a nuclear bomb in Series 7, Episode 8. Helen Flynn Administrative Officer, Section D, tortured and shot by a right-wing terrorist in Series 1, Episode 2. Colin Wells Technician and Data Analyst, Section D, hanged by corrupt MI6 officers during their attempted coup d'etat copyright tat in Series 5, Episode 1. Tariq Massoud Technician and Data Analyst, Section D, assassinated with hydrogen cyanide after discovering vital intel at his bugged home in Series 10, Episode 2. Other, the RT Honourable William Towers MP British Home Secretary, serving as part of a coalition government. Elia Gavrik Russian Minister for International Development, former KGB operative and old adversary of Harry during the Cold War. Oliver Mace Chairman of the Joint Intelligence Committee. Forced to resign after being exposed as the mastermind behind illegal torture of terror suspects. Sir Richard Dolby Director General of MI5. Bob Hogan former CIA London Station Chief. Dismissed from CIA for working with mercenaries against MI5. Dariush Bakhshi, Iranian Special Consul. Jules Civita, MI6 Section Chief. Reassigned out of the country. Christine Dale, CIA agent and MI5 liaison officer. Resigned following her involvement in Tom's investigation and apprehension. Sasha Gavrik, FSB officer and son of Elena Gavrik and Elia Gavrik. Ela Savitar, star cover Lucas North's ex-wife and a double agent. Dropped as an asset on Lucas's request. Wes Carter, son of Adam and Fiona. Sent to live with his grandmother after being orphaned following his father's death. Other, Juliet Shaw, former National Security Coordinator, exposed as head of Yalta. Alton Beecher, the head CIA liaison officer stationed in London. Bernard Quiltraw Harris, former mentor and retired SIS officer. Exposed as an FSB mole after the Sierra Horse incident. Other, the RT Honourable Nicholas Blake MP, former British Home Secretary. Forced to resign after allegations of corruption. Later exposed by Ruth as a senior member of Nightingale who ordered the hotel bombing that killed Home Secretary Andrew Lawrence and Ros Myers. Poisoned by Harry, who had learned from Ruth that Blake was a traitor. The RT Honourable Andrew Lawrence MP, former British Home Secretary. Killed in an explosion alongside Ros Myers, though his body was never seen. Sam Walker, CIA's London station chief. Murdered by Nightingale operative Sarah Caulfield for investigating Nightingale. Victor Sarkisian, former head of the FSB's London station. Murdered early in Series 8 Episode 1 by the man to whom he had intended to sell a kidnapped Harry Pierce. Victor's killer was himself killed at the end of the first episode by Lucas when he and Ros rescued Harry and Ruth, who had returned from Cyprus. James Jim Coover, CIA Deputy Director and an old friend of Harry Pierce. Helped turn Elena Gavrik in the 1980s. Suspected of being behind the attacks on MI5 and Gavrik as well as the death of Tariq Masood, but apparently set up for Harry to believe this. Beaten and fatally injured by mercenaries posing as CIA agents, died minutes later. Sarah Caulfield, CIA agent and MI5 liaison officer. Lucas North's lover. Assassinated by a hitman for Nightingale after being captured by MI5 and exposed as a traitor. Vaughan Edwards, Lucas North, John Bateman's blackmailer and his apparent employer in relation to the Dakar bombings. Died from blood loss received from a knife wound after a confrontation with Lucas John. Elena Gavrik, wife of Elia Gavrik and former asset and lover of Harry Pierce during the Cold War. Killed by Elia Gavrik after being revealed to be a Russian ultra-nationalist double agent. Maya Lahana, Lucas' ex-girlfriend. Died from gunshot wounds during a shootout with Alec, Beth and Dimitri whilst attempting to flee the country with Lucas John. Episodes. The show consists of 86 episodes, beginning in May 2002 and ending in October 2011. Each episode begins with a previously sequence, recapping recent events. Following a teaser, setting up the episode's narrative, a title sequence runs, featuring the main characters but no actor credits, and ends with the name of the series. Each episode ends with the final scene freezing and changing to a black and white negative image that then compresses with a distinctive sound effect into a flat white line against a black screen. With the exception of each season finale, a trailer for the next episode is shown, followed by the kudos and BBC logos. Broadcast and release, the series was filmed on Super 16, rather than the more commonly used digital alternatives. Episodes were originally aired with no credits on BBC One, a choice made to maintain an atmosphere of the anonymity of real-life spies and the drama of each episode. Prior to Series 9, the subsequent episode was aired on BBC Three 1 week ahead of its BBC One showing. BBC Three airings included a brief credit sequence following the trailer and before the kudos and BBC logos. International broadcast, the series is a popular export, syndicated to more than 25 countries. However, it has struggled for popularity in some areas, notably the United States. Two of the three channels to have broadcast Spooks in the U.S. pulled the show during the fourth series due to low viewing figures. Due to the racist connotations of the term spooks in some territories, International broadcasts are often renamed. Remarks. Home media. All series of Spooks are available on iTunes, with Series 7, 8, 9 and 10 becoming available to download 1 week after original broadcast. Series 1 and Euro 8 have been released on DVD by Contender Home Entertainment, with its successor Entertainment One then taking over. Series 9 was released by Universal Playback. Music. The music for Series 1 to 4 and theme tune was composed by Jenny Muscat. Music for Series 5 to 10 was composed by Paul Leonard Morgan. 4 soundtracks have been released for the show. The first includes music from Series 1 and 2, the second featuring music from Series 5 and 6. The third and fourth soundtracks were released on iTunes in November 2011. The track listings contain spoilers to the episode content. Broadcast editions of the episodes have been known to feature alternate music to that found on the commercially available DVD releases. In the final episode of Series 2, music from the film score Spy Game was used, a Euro composed by Harry Gregson Williams. The tracks used are Beirut, A War Zone, and Operation Dinner Out. Both are available on the official soundtrack release for the film. Wider Universe, Spooks, Code 9. Following the success of Torchwood, the controller of BBC Three, Julian Bellamy, announced in December 2006 a Spooks spin-off entitled Spooks, Code 9. The show started filming in Bradford in 2008 and the first and second episodes were broadcast on August 10, 2008. It was not well received by critics, who said the script is poor and the acting little better, and the production utterly uninspired and stale, daft and unconvincing, an utterly cynical venture that, given its patronizing awfulness, actually damages the Spooks brand. Books. Sangster, Jim, Spooks Confidential, The Official Handbook, Contender Books ISBN 1-84457-069-6, Episode Guide of the first 2 seasons, and background information on MI5 and the making of the series. Spooks, The Personal Files, Hetling Publishing Group ISBN 978-0-7553-3397-4, detailed MI5 personal files of 8 of the show's main characters, Adam Carter, Danny Hunter, Zoe Reynolds, Tom Quinn, Ruth Averst, Harry Pierce, Zephyr Yannis and Malcolm Wynne Jones, presented through a compilation of transcripts, reports and forms. Spooks, Behind the Scenes, Orion Books ISBN 0-7528-7610-4, background information on British intelligence and episode guides for the first 4 series. Spooks, Harry's Diary, Top Secret, Hetling Publishing Group ISBN 978-0-7553-3398-1, The Untold Stories of Spooks, and MI5, as seen from the perspective of Harry Pierce, the Spooks team leader. Adam Carter, Revealed, Hetling Publishing Group ISBN 978-0-7553-3401-8, revealing the truth about Adam Carter after his death, explaining the true details of his childhood, the extraordinary responsibilities he took on as a teenager, and how he nearly betrayed his country but never betrayed the people he loved. Video games. Video games based on the show were created by Preloaded for promotional purposes. In 2005, the video game The Grid was nominated for a Webby Award under the category of Best Game. Awards and nominations, references. Articles, Spooks Spark from the Northern Echo, see also, The Sandbaggers, external links, Spooks at BBC Programmes, Spooks Kudos Productions, Spooks British Film Institute, Spooks at the BFI Screen Online, Spooks at TV.com, Spooks at the Internet Movie Database.